Hello and welcome to the show. Today it's Pod Review 2. How you doing there, Jake?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. Thank you.
As you can see, I'm wearing my throwback Dodgers jersey. and
That's 2 weeks in a row. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's a little Cavs for, it's Friday, so why not? And I thought we'd do a little throwback, but not that far back.
Okay.
Just a few days. This is Brooklyn, but we're talking just a few days. And so pretty good week, I thought. And let's get right into the meat and potatoes of it. We started off strong, didn't we, with Wade and Helen? What'd you think?
I thought it was great. You know what? I liked it that it was like, I felt like it was a different episode. And you brought it up. This is a different type of episode. But I think it was different because it was more like a mission. I felt like it was a mission for them to be on. It was like, we're going to be on, and we're passionate about this read out loud activity or strategy. And you know what? I bought in. And I say I bought in because I'm already thinking about how I'm going to implement it in my class. Like, I want to read out loud. At least I'm going to try it twice a week, and then I'll go more than that afterwards. But I just wanted to continue. So for next week, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read a book, a social studies book, and I'm going to read it twice a week. So they got me encouraged. They because we had Sonia a few weeks before, and I feel like this is the second time I'm hearing this in a way. This is a little bit more, we were a little deeper with the book and so forth. But I don't know. I just really bought in, dude. I really did.
It really helped me reset in my thinking how to approach my English class. So some of the concepts were a review for me, but when you review something that you haven't looked at in a while, you look at it with fresh eyes because now you have years of experience, and it's really a good way to look at your class in a different lens and to look at a new approach at the same old thing. So I just finished a book with my 9th grade class just today. Oh, this is not planned. This book.
Oh, I never read it.
And I mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast, but and it's I was going to give them a reflection to write, and then I stopped. I said, let's just talk about the book. Let's review it. What was great about it? And they talked, not all of them, but some really loved it.
Wow.
And because of the component that Wade and Helen and all of us talked about, as the read aloud is strong just in and of itself, without all the additions that we give to it, that we feel like we have to give to it. The flashcards, the worksheets. Let's just read aloud, And it really is good to consider it in that light. So I do want to mention that they recommended the book Okay for Now by Gary Schmidt and The Little Dog Laughed, illustrated by Lucy Cousins. So check out that episode. You will get something out of it for sure. So we then you talked to Christian Markovich. Talk about that.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it was, I think it was my first time doing an interview without you, so we did miss you. Although it was fun because I know Chris. I've known Christian I had him in 8th grade and then in high school, so I think at least from 2000 and on, mid-99 and on. And you know what? I'm so proud of him. He has done so much for the city, and he still lives in the city of Cudahy. And he not only speaks highly of the city, but he was a public servant. And I think regarding education, he showed that, he actually shared this. He goes, you get out of what you put into it, right? And people in your city are going to get a lot out of you if you give your life and if you put time into it. And so what he did was he set up this computer lab at the school nearby called Ochoa. It's a K-8 school. And then also within the city, he did this big old book fair. And so he said, he didn't have to do that, but he did that because he saw a need and he had a heart for it. And then he goes into the schools to talk to the students. And I said, well, they're not voting, you know. He goes, well, they're my constituents. And I go, yeah, that's right, they are, you know. And they're people he wants to, you know, represent and to hear and to listen to. And so I loved it too, because there was somebody who responded to his video. Martha Sanchez is a student of mine back in 2001. He refers to her as a mentor. And she mentioned something like, man, Christian should, you know, write a book or something. And I thought about it. I go, yeah, he should. There's so much he's done and so much he's doing. And anyway, I enjoyed the episode quite a bit.
Yes, I did too. As I watched it, I saw a person who is comfortable in his own skin, which is important. You know, it's important to just be happy, to just talk about what you're doing, but also reflect on the past. And I really liked how he talked about, in particular, the teachers, Frank Davis and Paulino, and he was specific. As teachers, we want to hear what specifically did you appreciate about the class, and he was. The other thing, before I give you his recommendations, I like that he, as he was speaking, it reminded me, this is cool what started here. Whatever happens to this podcast, I don't know, but I like that it's become a kind of virtual teacher's lounge, not teacher's lounge, I'm going to change that. Maybe professional development where we exchange ideas, but on steroids, because it's a lot more people who would never otherwise know each other and are exchanging ideas and stealing some in a way, like we like to say, and using it for our purposes. So it was really nice. He did recommend Steve Jobs' Stanford's commencement speech, which I was familiar with, but I wasn't familiar with the last lecture by Randy Pausch. And I've been watching it, and I really like it. More than just the content, what it's about. I mean, it's really about this guy's I think it's his last lecture, literally, because he's dying of pancreatic cancer. And worth watching. It's a good companion piece to, or with Tuesdays with Maury, because what our legacy means and what we're going to leave, it's really good. So, and that's it. Well, okay. We then went and talked about LAUSD possibly defunding the school police. What are your thoughts?
It was a very difficult episode to do because, you know, sometimes when you feel passionate about something, doesn't mean you're always right. It just means you're passionate about something. Yeah. And then listening to it over again and talking to you about it, I'm still passionate about I want to feel safe when I go to work, you know, and I want the students to feel safe and be safe. So I'm passionate about that. But you said something pretty key in the video. You said something to the fact that, you know what, that's not the only answer, the police. And I've been thinking about this week. It isn't the only answer. You're 100% correct. Now, it's one of the answers that we have now, so I'm comfortable with having that answer for right now. But if we move and we, you know, pivot and we change direction and how we might do that to make sure our students and our staff are safe, I'm definitely open to that. And I think most teachers and staff are open to that. But it was difficult. It's just because I wasn't even sure if we should have done the episode, but it was I'm the one who brought it up to you, and I know you were so open about, yeah, let's just do it. But I still feel like I shared before that I do appreciate the people who, you know, protect us, and I do know it's a very sensitive time though, and not everybody who does. Just like there's not, and we talked about this before, they're not all good teachers out there, but there's several good teachers out there, and there's several good police officers. So there you go.
Yeah, of course there's more than several good police officers.
Yes.
But I want to even clarify something about that. I think it's a mistake to center it as an argument between conservatives and progressives. The idea of conservatives, pro-police, progressives, defund the police. I think it's a mistake to do that. I believe, and it's a little bit of an extension of what I was saying. I'm not saying throw out the police or fund the police. I'm saying the police, and let's supplement the police, because there is something to what you were referring to in terms of mental health. And there's also technology that's available to us that I think we can use now in a more intelligent way. So let's do a thought experiment. Joe Clark, we're going to talk about Lean On Me right now. Imagine Joe Clark being a principal right now and walking into Eastside High. Okay, so he doesn't even have to use up his bat or the police to some extent, or even his expulsions that he did in mass. All he can do really is say, you're going home. You're doing hybrid learning until you can improve your ways, buddy and gals. And everything is gone virtual for you. Homecoming, prom, graduation, until we see an improvement. While we also look at mental health issues, because our kids deal with that. And that could be something that could be meaningful, where they can build themselves up to something to where they can be back at school. They don't have to deal with expulsion. They don't get a mark against their record. In a way, a lot of people win. The other thing is, in real life example, because I know not everything's in the movies, but I don't know if you remember that case in Southeast High School in Southgate, where this girl who was on campus was getting threatened by her boyfriend, and nobody did anything. I don't want to brush it off that casually, that nobody did anything. That was the accusation. Why didn't the principal step up? And I believe the principal might have lost his job over that, because there was really nothing done. And eventually the girl felt unsafe, and eventually he came on campus and killed her and used a knife. So I'm wondering, well, if we used this kind of technology, keep him home, even send her home and have her work from home if she feels unsafe. Clearly, the security wasn't strong at school if a kid can just come on campus and kill somebody. So it's something that can be used with a supplement of the police. If the de-escalation that is involved with these new coaches that they're using doesn't work, then you have the police maybe as a final resort. Anyway.
Yeah. Very good.
And then we get to Lean On Me. What do you say to that?
I mean, I know this sounds corny, but every time I hear the title, it's the song plays in my head. As you remember in the 80s, Ruben, there were several movies that had titles of songs, right? Can't Buy Me Love, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and then of course they had some music in the movie. Some of it was a little dated. But putting that aside, you know what? I was thinking about Joe Clark this week. I was thinking about the biggest thing I think I took away from it is that he definitely had passion. He definitely was a believer in that those students deserve to be educated. And now maybe he didn't always like the way he approached it. And even today, we talked about how some of those things would not be able to hang in 2021 in any of our schools probably. But that being said, he was a man who was given a mission. He was to get these test scores up, and he did. And he was also a person who was told, hey, you know what, people have failed before you. And so it doesn't look like you might get this, this might not fly. And then right off the bat, he had people going against him from the parents, right, from other teachers, and so forth, and even some students who were definitely not appreciating the way he was handling them. And so I guess when I look back on it, I go, I want to definitely, have that passion as well. As in every day have that passion. When I go into school, go into class, every one of those kids deserve my attention. Every one of those kids deserve to finish school. And I teach a lot of 11th and 12th graders, so I share that with them all the time. I'm here to help you through the door outside so you could go on to a tech or a college or a professional job, whatever you choose to do. I want to be there to help you through that. And so, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it regarding Joe Clark. And he definitely made a difference. He made a difference.
Well, the movie for me, I was reflecting on it, and I think it benefited from comparison of other movies we've seen. There's this really, I hate to call it dumb formula, where you have the same old thing of teachers got the halo and the admin is either bad or evil or dumb or all of the above. And this did not do that. In fact, it had an admin against another admin, and it had some clashes with the teachers and the administrators. And I think it benefited by comparison. And the other thing is, I like that he had a flawed nature to his character was flawed, yet he was doing the right thing. So you appreciate that that idea. The other thing that I found interesting is that I wasn't really happy. Now this is going behind the scenes a little bit. I wasn't really happy with my presentation of that review, and I know there was some wonky stuff with the Zoom as well that came out. We'll catch that next time. But aside from that, I was thinking about maybe not that particular review was more like a natural review, like a more traditional review where you just, and we've been doing those for a while. But maybe for the next one, we might go back to a thing like we did maybe with Freedom Writers, where we just kind of like went bit by bit. It was a little bit more, how would I put it? Just natural, just a little bit more relaxed and informal. And that might be something to do. The channel is so tiny and new that we can make experiments like that. No one's probably going to notice. I don't think anybody left a comment on our Lean On Me video. Now, that might be a good thing. They were pleased with it, or that might be, I don't want to hurt these guys' feelings. So let's see how that goes. By the way, this next week's going to be pretty good, huh?
We can't give any hints or anything like that, huh? It's probably not a good idea.
No, it's just going to be pretty good, I think. Or it's one of those things where it could be a complete disaster too.
Yeah, we have a couple. Yeah, we're doing a couple of things there. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it was a good week. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And leave a comment about what you think we should do next, or interview next, or talk about. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.